Most people overcomplicate Clay. They see tutorials with 40-step workflows and think that's the only way to use it, but that's not true. And in this video, I'm going to show you the Clay basics you actually need to build high-quality lead lists without getting lost in advanced features you don't need. I'm also going to show you how to use 90+% of Clay's features without any paid subscription, so completely for free. If you're new here, my name is Romain Osman. I co-founded 5element, and over the past years, we've generated over 1,000 sales appointments for B2B companies and millions in pipeline using cold emailing and LinkedIn outreach. So let's get started. So first, what Clay actually is and why you need it. Clay is a data enrichment and automation platform that lets you pull data from 150 plus sources in one place. And the main reason why people are using Clay is because it saves a massive amount of time. Most of what you do in Clay could be done without Clay, but it will take hours or even days to do manually. And so Clay automates all of that. But it can also do things that will be difficult or nearly impossible to do without it. Like using Claygen that searches the web for specific information you're looking for. And it does this automatically for every single lead in your list. For example, you can prompt Claygen to check if the company is mentioned in any recent publications or industry news, or check if the company recently announced a new product launch, and it will actually search the web for that and return the results. So that's easily 5 to 10 minutes per lead if you did it manually. Now, could you build this with complex N8N workflows? Probably, but Clay makes it 10 times faster to set up and to use. So now let me walk you through the platform. So when you're on Clay, you need to start by creating a workbook. So think of a workbook like a Google Sheets file. And so inside your workbook, you create tables like a sheet in Google Sheets. So I'm going to create a blank table. Inside each table, you have view, columns, rows, filters, sorting, and search. So far, nothing crazy. It's just like a spreadsheet. But here is where Clay is different. You have an actions menu with 4 categories. You have sources, enrichments, signals, and exports. So let me explain what each one does. So sources is how you get data inside of Clay. So if I click on all sources, you can see that you can import from a CSV. Most of the times, that's what we're using. But you can also find people and find companies. So it's pulling data directly from LinkedIn. You can import it from your CRM. And if you scroll down, you can also find local businesses using Google Maps. And you have many other ways to pull data inside of Clay using all those different ways. But most of the times you're going to use import from CSV or find people. Or maybe if you're targeting local businesses, you're going to use this one. So once you have the leads inside of Clay, then you need to run enrichments. And so if I click on all enrichments, you have the list of all of the enrichments that you can do. So you have hundreds of them. I'm not going to detail each one of them. But for example, you can find email if you don't have the email of the prospect. And so you have all those different tools that you can use to find the emails, or you can verify the email. And again, you have all of those tools that you can use. Here, if I go to integrations, you have all of the tools that you can connect. And so for each one of them, you can add your API. And so once you have your API, you don't need to pay for the Clay credits. Then you're paying for the subscription of each one of those tools. But you can either choose to use the API, so this way you pay for the tool, or you pay for the Clay credits. So you just need to check what's the most expensive. But in general, it's more expensive to pay for Clay. And so it's better to pay directly for those tools separately. You can also search for Claygen, for example. And so if you add that, you can then do the deep research that I told you about earlier. And you can add also AI to create an AI line in your copy. So that's the difference between Claygen and AI. AI is something you're going to use when you want to add something personalized per prospect in your email copy. and Clayagent is just made for the research. So you do the research and then you create your AI line. So there are hundreds of data points that you can use. And so the best thing to do is to go to integrations, to scroll through this list and to see what you might need. Probably you're already using a lot of those tools, and so you can directly integrate them in your workflow. Another one that is interesting is the tech stack data. So here you have find technology stack. And so when you add this column, you can find the tech stack of the company that you're looking for. So it can be useful to either filter the companies that you don't want or to add some personalization in the copy. Then the third action is signals. So here, as you can see, for example, you can get an alert when a contact changes jobs or companies, or you can get an alert when a company that you're monitoring posts a new job opening. And so there are a few others, but that's not a feature I used in the past, so I don't have any experience with that. But you can try it and see if it makes sense for your specific case. And the fourth action is export. So that's how you send data out of Clay. So for example, you can download a CSV, or you can directly send all of your leads to a sequencer. So if you're using Instantly or SmartLead, you can directly from here send all of the leads to the right campaign. You can also export to your CRMs, and there are other options available here. But most of the times, you're going to download a CSV or send it directly to your sequencer. By the way, if you'd rather have my team build and run the entire outbound system for you, just hit the first link in the description to book a call with me. We can talk about whether it makes sense for us to work together or not. All right, back to the video. Now, when you create your Clay account, you get 14 days free with full access of the platform. And what most people don't know is that during those 14 days, you can create all of your workflows, create all of your tables, and connect all of your APIs, and then continue using those tables without paying for any subscription. And so to do that, you need to connect all of your API keys to create your tables with the HTTP modules and all of the enrichments you need. And so build your entire table structure. And so even after your trial ends, you can still modify the enrichments, you can modify the HTTP modules, and you can add more leads to your tables and run all of the enrichments. You just can't add new enrichments and new HTTP modules, but if you already set up everything during those 14 days, then you can keep using them. So depending on your specific needs, you might not need any subscription at all, at least not at the beginning. But for example, if you want to source leads using the Find Leads feature that I showed you earlier, where it's scraping data from LinkedIn, then you will be very limited. And in that case, you need the paid subscription. But if you source leads from Apollo directly, for example, most likely you don't need any subscription. All right, so now that you understand what each action does, let me show you an actual workflow so you can see how it all comes together. I'm not going to go deep into every single step because I have a detailed video on my YouTube channel detailing everything, and I will put the link in the description. But I want to walk you through it quickly so you can see how Clay runs. So here, as you can see at the beginning, I pulled this data from Apollo. So I imported the CSV. And so on the CSV, I had the company name, first name, last name, website, the LinkedIn profile, the title of the person, email, and that's it. So here, as you can see, I first cleaned the company domain. So I'm just removing here the HTTP and www. That will be easier than to use for all of the enrichments. Then I have a lookup. So here it's checking if the company domain that is here is already on another spreadsheet that I have. And the other spreadsheet is the do not contact list. So that's all of the people that said on previous campaigns that they're not interested, or they're our clients that we don't want to contact. So it's checking if the domain already exists. And if it exists, as you can see, then the other enrichments are not running. So here, run condition not met. And for all of the others where no record has been found, as you can see, everything is being run. Then I'm using an HTTP module to check the MX provider. So here it's just telling me if they're using Microsoft, Google, etc. I have the detail in the other video. Then here I'm using debounce to validate the email. So as you can see here, for example, run condition not met, while there is an email and the domain has not been found on the DNS record, because here I'm having a condition where if the provider is Microsoft, I don't want to run the rest of the enrichments. So that's why you see run condition not met. And so that's something that we're doing here. As you can see, if I go to the bottom, I have a few conditions. And here there is a formula that says that if it's Microsoft or even if it's Barracuda, I don't want to run the column. I moved a bit the tab because probably you didn't see it because of my camera. So as you can see, there is the formula here. And so if there is Microsoft or Barracuda, it's not running. And so this only run if feature is very important. And that's what makes Clay a bit complicated, because that's something you will probably need and you have to create those formula. But you can use AI here and you can use plain language to create your formula. So here you explain exactly what you need. So for example, only run if the job title of the person is founder. And so you create the formula, you generate the formula, and it's going to do it for you automatically. But this only run if feature is very important, and to be able to use Clay, you really need to be able to understand how to use this feature. Then I have a find email column where it's going to try to find the email when I didn't import the email. So as you can see here, for example, Apollo didn't have any email, so Prospeo is going to try to find it. Here, as you can see, it was able to find an email, for example. Then you have unreach.so. So unreach.so is verifying the catch-alls. So when the email on debounce is a risky email, so a catch-all email, like for example here, as you can see, there is one valid, but when you check the details here, it says risky. And so when the email is risky, it's adding it here, and then unreach.so is verifying it. And so at the end here, you have the master email column. So it's adding all of the valid emails from debounce, from Prospeo, and from unreach.so. So it's just gathering all of the valid emails. So then that's the column I can import in SmartLead. Here it's a simple prompt that cleans the company name. So I can use the company name in the SmartLead campaign and in the copy. And here I added a column for SmartLead. So again, here I have a formula inside that says only run if the master email is not empty, the cell master email is not empty, and the master company name is not empty. And so when that happens, then it's going to run this row and it's going to add it automatically to the right campaign in SmartLead. Also, what's important to understand is that Clay doesn't run left to right. It's dependency based, meaning a cell runs when the data it needs is available. So for example, for the clean company name column, as you can see here, it needs the company column. So the company column is not an enrichment, so it's already there. There is no issue here. But if I scroll down, I have a formula here that says that only run this column if there is something in master email. And so it's going to wait for something to happen in master email to be able to run this column and to have an email. As you can see here, it's not running because there is nothing in master email. So that's it for the video. You don't need to master every Clay feature to get value from it. You just need to build one workflow that fits your needs, and then you're done. You can keep using the same workflow over and over again. Now, if you want us to build and run your entire outbound system for you, so you can just focus on closing deals and not focus on lead generation, just hit the first link in the description to book a call with me. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe. I'll be posting more strategies and tutorials to help you scale your outreach. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.